Welcome back to another episode of Elements of the Unknown. Elements of the Unknown. Sorry, I was trying to change it up every time. I'm Jason McGray, co-host with
Justin Hume.
Yeah, I see submission now. I gotta
You're gonna do it different every single time.
I gotta do a new intro every time.
How about this? This is what we'll do.
I'm gonna do an intro in a different language.
I wasn't thinking that, but okay. Pause for dramatic effect.
Yeah, what were you thinking?
I was thinking I was gonna send you somebody's a celebrity voice, and you got to do your best impression of that celebrity on each episode, doing the intro.
We could, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
No pressure or anything.
No pressure at all. I'm just gonna do some different intros.
Yeah.
Send us your impression of an intro of the Elements of the Unknown, and we will splice it in horribly over top of mine. Can you imagine? Hey everybody, welcome to Elements of the Unknown, and then it's just some girl or something. It's saying something, and then it goes back to us talking. Anyways.
Oh man.
We are circling back to a topic that is much needed, much looked after, sought for.
Ghostesses.
Ghosts.
Ghostesses.
And we have a never-ending pit of stories and information to do with spirits and paranormal and ghosts. And most specifically, we have a story that needs to be told.
Yeah.
From a celebrity, a TV celebrity.
Oh, God.
Our boy Justin here is a celebrity spot. What was the show called? Remind me again.
No. I'm not doing that.
You're not going to shout out the name?
No, I'm not going to give them too much credit.
You know what? At this point, though, it's not giving them credit. It's giving us credit. It's giving people credit towards you. So anybody that watches that show, they're literally just watching it because of Elements of the Unknown.
The only thing that I will give them is the title of the episode. It's called Psycho O. Psycho O.
Psycho O.
So it's Psycho-OH.
You know what it is? I feel like you've told us a name before.
And then, so if they really want to know, then they're going to have to go back and rewatch.
You're going to force people to go back and
go
re-listen?
listen to each episode.
Mm-hmm. It's probably in the intro episode.
Maybe.
Or maybe the second episode.
Or maybe.
Anyways.
So
you have an experience with network type TV filming an episode discussing a personal experience with the paranormal.
One that really hit.
And if you've seen the episode, you are about to get a raw live version of his experience as opposed to the experience that you were told on TV.
What you were told on TV was more so a directed version of the story. Big up to what they were trying to do. I completely respect what they were trying to do. However, I was more so telling a directed story, not my story. So, I've told this story a few times to a few people. Here's the real story. Okay? So where it happened was a place in Whitby. I will not be directing it towards any specific location. If you know, you know.
Did they do the filming in Whitby? Or
I don't know. I don't know where they did it.
No. Where did they interview you?
Oh, I went out to... Where did I go? Hamilton.
So you went to Hamilton. That makes sense because they still do a lot of haunted TV type filming in Hamilton. Like they did, I think there's a current Canadian TV show like Haunted Hospitals, and stuff like that. So they still do a lot of filming in Hamilton, Ontario, for the paranormal. Okay, so you went there. Yeah. You drove out to Hamilton.
Yeah, well, they actually picked me up.
Did they really?
Yeah, they picked me up in a car.
Wow. What kind of car?
Nothing special.
Ah, damn it.
It wasn't a limo or anything like that. I didn't get the full celebrity experience.
Did they red carpet it?
No, I wish.
Damn it.
No, it was needles and garbage cans all in the way.
Oh, you were in Oshawa.
Have you been to Hamilton lately?
Yeah, same place. Different name.
Pretty much. So, nothing against Hamilton. Just,
we love you guys. Shout out Hamilton.
Yeah. Okay. So, if you guys want the real experience, here it is. So, we were hanging out at a buddy's place. He's a photographer, professional photographer, and he had just bought this new camera. We were just hanging out. He was taking random photos, whatever, and we were bored. I'm like, guys, I've always wanted to go check this one spot out. Do you want to go check it out? So it was myself, 2 guys, 2 girls, 5 of us in total. So we jumped in our cars, we headed over to the spot, and we got out, and there was a couple places still up, like a couple of the buildings. You don't want to
say where this location is, because I know where it is, and it's no longer there.
Do you think it would be okay for me to say?
Yeah, because the buildings, like the lot where you're talking about, it's gone.
Okay, so it's the Whitby Psych, the old Whitby Psych, before they built on the new...
The psychiatric hospital. There was
Correct.
There was an old Whitby-atric Psych compound of buildings.
I'm sorry, did you say Whitby-atric?
No, Whitby Psychiatric Hospital had a compound... I don't know what I said. Anyways, it was a compound of buildings. When you went, there was only 3 buildings left. There used to be something like 12 or something.
Something like that, yeah. There was like a gymnasium and stuff like that.
All kinds of them.
Yeah.
They've since demolished all of those. There is a new psychiatric hospital.
There's actually still one.
There is, you're right. There is one. But they've built housing all around the ground of where it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
There is still one. It's completely fenced around. You can drive by and look at it.
Mm-hmm.
But we are in no way inviting you to go to the currently active Whitby Psychiatric Hospital. That is an active psychiatric hospital with actual patients.
Yes.
Do not go there adventure seeking.
No, please don't.
So these are the old buildings that are no longer there. We'll tell you. He's telling you a story from that.
Yeah. So when we pulled up, there was like a driveway that kind of went up and around and into the back, kind of like a back hidden spot, so we could hide our cars, right? So there was a bigger cabin looking thing, bigger building, and then beside it there was 2 smaller buildings. So we went off into one of the smaller buildings first. We looked around, didn't really see too much. Didn't really feel anything, nothing, we were just more so looking around, seeing if we could find anything interesting. No, but before I go too far, the reason why we went there is because we heard about these underground tunnels. We wanted to find these tunnels. Everyone and anybody who knows about the Whitby Psych, if you're a local, you know about these tunnels. Jay, I know you know them.
Been in them.
Okay, so we left that one house and we finally went into the big one. When you go into the big house or into this big building, I'll call it a cabin. It's easier to describe it as a cabin. Much bigger though. There's only one entrance to get in, and when you go up, it's kind of like you go up this deck. It's like a porch, and there's one window that was boarded up, but it has a hole in it, and you got to climb through this hole. So I went through first, and I helped everyone through. As soon as we went in, it was like immediate bad feeling. I wanted to turn around and leave right away. It was my idea. Stick around. We'll go to it. So as soon as you walk in, you got a hallway in front of you, another hallway to the right, and then like kind of like this room off to the left. Well, we went directly right off to the room to the left, and we went in, and I'm like, something about this one room just didn't sit right with me. Like, it was a very uneasy feeling. Like, almost, not like nauseating, but like, more like anxious feeling. So this guy with his camera, he's taking pictures of everything the whole time. So when you walk into this room, if you keep walking forward through this room, there's another kind of entrance exit. So it kind of maybe a dining hall in part of that building. So we went out this other way. So looked at the other guy and I'm like, you take the girls off this way. Me and him, we're going to go this way. And we're going to go look for the tunnels. If we find anything, we'll let you know. So that year, it was a massive drought. There was like no rain. Keep in mind, this is fall, right? Normally there's a lot of rain, a lot of moisture. We find the basement to go downstairs. Sure enough, this basement's flooded. I'm not talking about a foot or two of water. I'm talking almost to the ceiling. Like they had flooded the basement because they didn't want anybody down there. That's my guess. How else would there be that much water down there? Right?
There could be a break in the foundation. The water could be getting in.
From the drought?
From a drought?
Yeah. Lack of water. There wasn't really much rain that year.
Okay. I didn't know that.
So, there's that. You could be right. Breaking the main definitely makes more sense. Regardless, we didn't exactly pack bathing suits to go swimming at the Whitby site.
So you went naked?
My buddy did. He gave me his camera, brand new camera. He just spent a couple grand on this thing. This thing was his baby. So I cared for it, like held on to it like a legit baby.
Did you sing to it?
No, I should have though.
Okay.
Maybe I would have taken better pictures. I'm kidding, your camera took pictures if you're listening to this. Beautiful pictures. So he piled his clothes all up in the corner, like right down to his birthday suit. Goes down the stairs. He brings a flashlight with him. He's got a waterproof flashlight and he's going around. I give it about 5-10 minutes. And I start yelling out his name to come back. And I'm like, oh my god, he's not coming back. So I keep yelling his name. And then all of a sudden he just comes out of nowhere up the stairs. I'm like, dude, are you good? He's like, yeah. I'm like, did you find the tunnels? He's like, not exactly. I did find them. I'm like, but what? He's like, I seen something that I don't know what I seen. I'm like, okay, makes sense. So he got dressed. The girls were starting to come over. I'm like, you wait there while he gets dressed. So he puts all his clothes on, whatever. Grabs his camera back. So when you come out from the basement, there's a stairwell to go up. Now this stairwell, it kind of hooks up to the left. Well, you can't see what's at the top of the stairs. So it was more a matter of who's going to go first. It was my idea. I'm like, alright, fine. I'll go first. No big deal. Was a big deal. I was shitting my pants going up these stairs. So I'm going up, and then I'm like, alright guys, everything seems good. Come on up. So they all followed up in behind me. As soon as you come up these stairs, there's a room dead ahead of you. In this room, there was still like the shackles, the bed frame, and stuff like that. So it was obviously where maybe they slept or something like that, or, judging by the shackles, it's when they were going irate, that's where they kept them, or something like that. So we're in there, and I'm like, something about this room, man, like, it just wasn't feeling right. Like, there's just this one room. I felt this heavy presence. So they went down the hall, and I'm in this room. And I'm just kind of looking around. I'm like, man, like, just this uneasy feeling. So they come back down, and I keep looking down the hall. And I look back, and I look back down the hall again. And I don't know, like, I think I might have seen like a shadow or something move down at the end. I said, is anybody else down there? And they're like, no, why? I'm like, I could have swore I seen someone down there just now. I'm like, no, we didn't see any. Nobody's down there. It's just us. So legitly, it was just us. When we pulled up, there's no other cars. There's no signs of anybody else. We were making noise. Okay? To the point where if there's somebody else in there, we would have made contact with them at some point already. So we come out of the room, whatever. And when you come out, there's this big, almost like, I want to say almost, it looked like this big library office type deal. Because there was a desk, but there was stuff thrown around. Like, kids have gotten in there, destroyed the place.
Yeah, lots of people went in those buildings.
Yeah, like, unfortunately, there was still documents of stuff in there. Like, old books, old documents. Like, it was amazing the stuff that was still there. It's like they just up and left. So I'm looking through, like, I'm kind of just sitting there. And I'm looking around. I'm like, I don't know, man. I just keep getting this uneasy feeling. And I look up and I look out the window. And on the other end of the building, it's, I don't know if I seen like another shadow or a figure or something like that or something, right? I'm like, did you guys see that? And they're like, no, we didn't see anything. I'm like, I didn't bring it up again. So we go downstairs, and the other guy, he's like, me and the girls found this room that we want you to check out. I'm like, okay. So we go downstairs, and when we come downstairs, you go to the left, there's like this fireplace, okay? And I'm looking around the fireplace, and it almost looks like there was like this gap in between the fireplace and the wall. So it maybe like a trap door or something like that. But no, you look in the fireplace, and it was a legit fireplace. It just looked like you could pull it out from the wall and there'd be like a secret passage in there, right? Which was weird because like you pull on it, that thing wasn't moving. So anyways, we keep going, and you go, so when you first come in, again, you know how I mentioned the hallway to the right? Well, that's where we are now. So we go into this room that they're showing us, and it almost reminded me of like a medical room where nurses were to administer the medicine. So when you walk into this room, there's two small rooms off to the left. And they had doors, and these doors kind of had like a shelf, which is what made me think like, okay, this is where they had the medication. They had it locked up in these rooms. This is where the nurses put the medicine on the shelf, and away you go. So the guy with the camera tells our other buddy, go stand in the one room, I want to take pictures of you. Now there's windows in there, but they're all blocked off, so you couldn't see anything. So he's just taking random pictures. So where I'm standing, he's standing, there's off to the right of me. I can see out into the hallway, but the two girls are standing in front of me. I'm sitting there chit-chatting with the girls. I'm looking right at them. My two buddies are standing right to the right, and then all of a sudden I hear this shrieking scream. Now, for years I tried to describe this scream. I don't know where this show that I was on found the scream, but it was identical. That like
blood curdling scream, right?
Yeah, man, like
I get it.
I think about it now, and it just, oh man, like it just
Yep.
I'm like, did you guys hear that? And they're like, hear what? I'm like, are you kidding me? As soon as I said, are you kidding me? That same scream, but louder. We all looked at each other and we're like, we got to get out of here now. So we run to the front door, to that opening, and I get the one guy without the camera to go through first. I pass out one girl, pass out the next girl. I turn around, the guy with the camera's gone. Like, gone. I'm like, I look back out the window, I'm like, take the girls, I don't know where he is, I'm gonna go look for him, I'll find him, just take the girls back to the car. As soon as I turn around, boom, he's in my face. Just standing there, like this pale, blank face with no expression in his face, dead-eyed, like just staring at me. I'm like, dude, are you okay? Nothing. Are you okay? Where did you go? Nothing. I'm like, Okay, come on, let's go. Pulled him out. I'm like, let's go. I put him in front of me. So I'm walking back. He's walking in front of me. I was the last one to get out the window. He stops dead in his tracks. Now, when someone's pushed, they kind of take like a stumble, like a couple steps, and they fall over, right? No. He wasn't pushed. This guy was stopped dead in his tracks. He goes up off his feet, horizontal to the ground, sits there for a second and drops on his stomach. Keep in mind, his camera is on his chest. This is a brand new $2,000, $3,000 camera. He lands right on it. He wouldn't do that. He would do everything to cover this thing. He did nothing. Up, stomach, hit the ground. I'm like, dude, get up. What the hell? What the hell was that? He's like, where am I? I'm like, dude, you're outside. We need to go. I grab him. I pick him up. I throw him up over my shoulder. I throw him in his own passenger seat. The other guy drives his car. I hop in my car with the two girls, and we were gone, dude. Like, there's the real story. There's the real story for you guys. Like...
So in comparison, nobody grabbed you by the throat and picked you up off the ground?
No. And I don't like that they made me say that. Nothing grabbed me. Nothing choked me. I think where they got that is I felt like I was having like an anxiety attack. So I was like...
Yeah.
Trying to catch my breath, and they're like, oh, somebody grabbed you by your throat. Somebody lifted
like,
you up.
No, they didn't. They're like, yeah, they did. Now say this.
And it was a doctor.
And it was a doctor.
That part, I didn't like how they fabricate. 90% of the story that I told on the show was directed.
So it's funny because they said they wanted you to say you got picked up by a doctor.
Yeah.
You want to hear a fun synchronicity to that?
Okay.
Ultimate Gravity Show co Scott.
Mm-hmm.
His grandfather was an orderly at the Whitby Psych.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm serious. He used to work there at the old psych.
So if I did get grabbed, was it his grandfather?
I don't know. I just a funny odd
that's
circle
weird.
Synchronicity. I don't have any stories. I'm sure Scott does.
Okay.
But yeah, that's every time I think of that, like, oh, it was a doctor or something. I'm thinking, oh, maybe it was an orderly. Maybe it was Scott's grandfather, just like, whoop, up you went.
No, see, and this is why I wanted to get the true story out there.
Yeah.
Just because I've gotten a couple messages from buddies that I haven't heard of from a while, and they were messaging me saying, "Oh, I heard your story." Blah blah. I'm like, listen, I understand you watch the show. Just know, you cannot believe everything that you hear or see on TV.
Why?
Come on, dude. I think you of all people know.
Oh, I know.
You know, and I told them, don't. I said 90% of what I said on that show was directed. If you want to hear the real story, tune into one of our future episodes. I will be telling the story. And here we are. I'm telling you guys the real story.
Like, that's recently then. So somebody's like asked you about
a week or so ago, yeah.
Since we were recording, somebody was like, I remember somebody commented that they saw the episode on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And then they reached out to you?
It's amazing that so I hadn't heard anything from anybody about this episode, about this TV show. We start this, all of a sudden people are like, hey, seen you on TV, hey, seen you on TV, hey, seen you on TV. I'm like, dude, you want to talk about synchronicity? That's insane.
That is pretty wild. I used to go through the old Whippy Psych as well. We used to go with Durham Paranormal before the days before you were on the team.
Okay.
And we used to go with a gentleman who used to look for old stuff, old relics from Whitby and surrounding area. He wanted to collect stuff to donate to what he would hope would eventually be like some kind of Whitby museum of artifacts and stuff.
Ran by Zach Baggins?
No, not at all. Not even like haunted objects.
Okay.
He just wanted to collect old objects and then eventually donate them.
Okay. Hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we kind of teamed up for a while. He was
Sorry, do I know this guy or?
No,
okay.
no, not at all. I'm going to keep his name out of it just
cool.
for privacy reasons.
Yep.
But we would go through the psych. We obviously were kind of being mindful, looking for ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing his thing. And we learned from him that in the main room on the main floor of those buildings, there's a fireplace on each side of the main room. And the fireplace had a wooden mantle on it. And if you popped the wooden mantle off, you needed a crowbar.
Okay.
You wouldn't damage the mantle, but you could pop the wooden mantle off, and then there was an old mantle underneath.
That's why there looked like there was a gap.
It looks like there was a gap.
Okay, makes sense now.
So that gap was also, it also what it did was it gobbled up letters of people that would. So okay, let me back that up. Before it was a psychiatric hospital, it was a World War I military hospital.
Interesting. Okay.
So the patients from the military would go to that hospital and they would write letters to home and they would stick them on the mantle to be mailed out.
Okay.
And some of those letters got knocked off and knocked in behind the mantle.
Oh,
so if you
really
pop the mantle off, the guy I was with, he was finding old letters that haven't been opened.
Oh, no way.
Since World War I. So he was finding these letters, opening them up,
That's
reading
cool
them
as
and
fuck.
stuff. Yeah. And he would like white glove and put them in bags and preserve
That's
them
good,
and all
yeah.
that stuff. And they had all kinds of information from the people that were in the hospital.
Did you read the letters and stuff like that?
Yeah, he read
that would have been cool to see the old writing, you know what I mean? Like the actual handwritten letters where they used...
Yeah, it was like old lined paper.
That's
like
so
from
cool.
like a notepad. It was all yellowed.
Mm-hmm.
I remember he showed us the one and it was like the guy was saying like, don't come to Whippy. It's like full of drugs and hookers and...
Oh, so not much
stuff.
has changed then?
No, not much. Not much. But yeah, that was a cool thing that he used to do.
That is neat.
That's why those mantles had that space. But we went to those buildings multiple times.
Okay.
Went through all the tunnels.
Did you see anything within those tunnels?
And in any of the buildings, period, the entire site, I never saw a single thing. I never had a single paranormal experience while I was there.
Interesting.
The tunnels, what's interesting about the tunnels that they were flooded and your buddy went through the water is that down close to the entrance of all the tunnels there was I guess you would call them incinerators, and they were still full of ashes. They were like open areas still full of ashes. And we had even taken like a stick at one point and like poked around, moved the ashes around.
Okay.
Because you know how you like, if you have a fire and there's ashes and you poke around, sometimes you'll find a little piece of wood or whatever from the fire in your campfire or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So we thought, well, let's poke around, see if there's anything left in the ashes.
Yeah.
Now, I know what you're thinking, like, oh God, did you find any bones?
Yeah.
No, it's not that kind of incinerator.
Okay.
That I know of. I don't know. But we did find an old cigarette package. An old player's cigarette package. So old that we opened up the package, it still had a player's card. Because they used to come with trading cards inside the cigarette packages. And it was like an old German officer from like the 1800s.
Oh, no shit.
On this card. And obviously the guy that we went with, he took it to preserve it and stuff like that. But the thing I'm getting at is those incinerators, they didn't have doors on them. They were wide open. So all that ash was wide open. So if they flooded those tunnels, all that water is full of that ash. And that guy went swimming in that water. That's gross.
Yeah.
Because I don't know whether they incinerated... I don't know what they incinerated in those things.
Can I tell you something about this guy, though?
I do know that the morgue was down there. And at one point they bricked up the tunnel to the morgue because people were getting in and vandalizing the morgue. But it was still there, including like
They
the door.
bricked it up? Like they sealed it off?
Yeah, like the tunnel that you went down to get to the morgue, they just bricked it up
See, and that's
so it was like you came to a dead end on this hallway. It was like a dead end to nothing, and you were like, "Why is this hallway here?" And eventually, somebody knocked it down to get to the morgue again, and then they had to brick it up again. Since all of that, because they had to build all the housing that they built there now, they collapsed all the tunnels. So there is no tunnels for anybody to go poking around in. And stuff.
Yeah.
Everything was collapsed because they had to build housing on top of it. You don't need a house caving in
There's
because
a lot
the
of
tunnel
houses there
drops.
now. Yeah.
It's a huge suburban development.
Beautiful development that they did there.
Some of it's really beautiful. There's some
Yeah.
buildings and stuff there.
Yeah. The one thing I will say about the guy that went into the water is the same one that disappeared, and
Yeah.
he's never been the same since. He actually ended up grabbing like a 2-4 and spent a couple nights there by himself.
For those of you who are not from this area, a 2-4 is a case of beer with 24 in it. 24 beers in it.
24 beers in it. He went there and he spent a couple nights there himself. Didn't tell me till afterwards. Let me paint a picture of how this guy is now. He is full on ready for the zombie apocalypse. He is ready for zombie invasion, alien invasion. He went as far as buying a vehicle, a all-terrain vehicle, to prepare to drive anywhere he needs to. I don't know if it was maybe just because of this.
Do you think he built an underground shelter?
He quite possibly could have, man. He's a great guy. Like, I hope he's
cool.
listening. This guy's amazing. He's a very nice guy. And he's very interesting to talk to.
Let's get him on.
I would love to have him on. I'm
could
still
talk
in
about
contact with him.
We could talk about whatever he wants to talk about.
Yeah. Even I don't know if he's still willing, though.
No, I mean, like, whatever he's willing to talk about,
Yeah.
or whatever he wants to talk about. It doesn't have to be about his experiences. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever he's into.
Yeah, I did recently work
I mean, he's
with
been
him.
to stuff about the unknown and stuff like that. That's
Yep.
cool. Like, come on and talk about it.
Yeah, man. Other than that, yeah. I don't know what kind of timing we have, if there's another, because I know you have a ton of experiences.
I do. I'm gonna save more ghost stories.
Are
for
we
more
already at
episodes.
that time?
Yeah, we're gonna cut it.
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you some more ghost stories on another episode. Maybe you'll hear about the little girl in the woods. And that'll be another episode, folks. Hit us up on our socials, buy our merch. You know where to find us. And until then, stay spooky.
Stay weird.